ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have an exciting guest that will give us an inside look at the Bayonne Board of Ed. Hello, sir. How are you tonight?
Hey, Sean. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Can you please describe to us your name and position?
Sure. My name is John Niesz. I'm the Superintendent of Schools in the city of Bayonne.
How did you end up at Bayonne High School, and how did you get this job as superintendent?
Sure. So, I'm here. I'm here myself. The most important thing is the position opened when I applied for it back in 2019. And as a kid, my grandmother grew up in Bayonne. My family's from Bayonne, and going through the process was awesome. And I get a chance to come back to Bayonne, so it's pretty cool.
Can you tell us a bit more about your life in Bayonne?
Sure. It was when I was a little kid with my grandmother. There was a place, I think it was called Stash's Deli, where my grandmother would take us. I think it was Our Lady Star of the Sea was the church she used to take us to as little kids. But yeah, but that was a long time ago.
I can see why that's. I understand. I heard you have a background in law enforcement. Could you provide us with some intel on that?
Sure. I was a police officer. I was a sergeant in Freehold Borough Police Department. I was wounded in line of duty, and I went I went to work for the Department of Homeland Security for a government contractor right here in the Northeast. And that was, let's see, I did that up until 2010.
2010. Now, since you just brought up that wound, can you tell us how you got that and how it impacted your life?
Sure. I was in a fight with someone. I was thrown into a car. Then I went into a telephone pole. I was temporarily paralyzed. I had a cadaver bone and titanium put into my spinal cord, C4, C5, C6, and yeah, went through rehab, and I'm very fortunate to be where I am right now. That's why it's kind of hard for me to turn this way because it's all. But yeah, that's what happened to me, and unfortunately, but you know what? I found a new passion in education, and I became a teacher, and subsequently became an assistant principal, and then I became a superintendent in 2000. I think it's 16.
Well, I hope you're doing well, even though you got that injury. Can you tell us how you went from being a police officer to becoming a teacher? Tell us what happened in between besides being
Sure.
principal.
Interestingly enough, way back early in the 1990s, I was a dare. What they had dare. Remember, you guys have dare? You ever heard of that?
I'm kind of familiar with that.
It's kind of like the LEAD program now that they have, but back then it was called the DARE program. And when I became a police officer, I was one of the first DARE officers for a year, and that was really cool being in the classroom teaching. Oddly enough, back in the early 1990s, they actually told us when you go into the classroom, don't wear your firearm. Can you imagine police officers going into the school? Yeah, no, that was kind of crazy. But in any event, being a DARE officer, being in the classroom was really neat. I was a field training officer. I taught at the academy. I was a drill instructor, and found a lot of. It was awesome, and getting into the classroom was just fantastic. And it's been a lot of fun.
Do you have any memories that you wish to share as sergeant?
Do you have like about 5 or 6 hours? But the most important thing is, as a police officer and as a teacher, as an educator, it's about teamwork, working as a team. You're the announcer, and you have a team of people behind you helping you. That's really important. It's important in law enforcement. It's important as a teacher, as a superintendent, that you surround yourself with great people and you have a great team. So it kind of all works that way.
Wherever you go, there's always an inner workings behind it.
Right.
How did you make it a point to introduce yourself to the students at the Bayonne School District?
Well, you know what? It's kind of crazy because I can't get. There's over 10,000 students. As you all know, when I became the superintendent, a few months afterwards we had coronavirus. That was almost 18 months that we didn't get to see each other. So it's every day there's somebody new to meet, there's somebody new to talk to, which is awesome. And you just try to get to everything you can possibly get. Last Saturday, my wife and I were up in Northern Highlands, and we saw the Bee's Knees perform, which was awesome. Going to the baseball games, and now the spring seasons are starting, so it's great. It's a lot of fun, and there's so many people to meet and get to know, but it's a lot of fun.
Now that you bring up the coronavirus, can you describe how you handled with that situation?
I think every step of the way, I think we did a fantastic job. Nothing's going to be perfect. We were, as you all know, we were one of the first to close for COVID. That turned out to be a great move, and then subsequently everything going forward. Was it perfect? No. Could you improve? I suppose so. But thank God we got through it. We didn't lose any of our faculty or staff to anything really, horrible. But it was really challenging. Just determining when to come back, getting all the supplies, putting all these things. You guys know all the air purifiers, the plexiglass, the lunches, and figuring out that. I hope when it gets warmer, hopefully soon, everybody will be able to take part in our all the picnic tables that we have outside that people can use. But yeah, it was extremely challenging. But you know what? Through all our partnerships, all our teachers, all our administrators, all the students, we got through it. And we hope we won't return to that, because that was just terrible.
I understand how hard it was for you to deal with, but I'm glad to see that everything's starting to work out now. What do you view as your most important contribution to the daily workings of the school district?
Well, here's something really exciting. We just bought St. Andrew's Catholic School, so we're going to be expanding our educational footprint, meaning we're going to add another building to our inventory of schools, and we're continuing to do capital improvements. We're hoping to redo the locker rooms. I know the girls don't have a specific locker room, so we're hoping to put a brand new locker room in for the boys and the girls downstairs. State of the art is going to be phenomenal. We're going to be hanging up a big picture and stuff, so it's going to be awesome.
Could you tell us a little bit about St. Andrews? What was it like before it closed?
It's been vacant for 5 to 6 years. There's a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done. Imagine a building that's been vacant for that long. The heating, air conditioning, there's asbestos. There's a lot of things that we have to improve and that we have to fix. But we're going to get there, and when we do, it's going to be a tremendous benefit to the community.
I look forward to seeing the results of that. What are other schools that you have worked in the past?
I started in Monmouth County in Freehold. It's called Biotechnology High School. It's a biotechnology high school for the vocational school district of Monmouth County, and in there we were the law enforcement program. We had that, and from there I went to St. John Vianney High School in Homedale, and then I went to Keensburg School District and in Bayonne.
Now that you are in Bayonne, how do the other schools differ from ours?
You have a huge high school with almost 3,000 students. The closest I came to that was maybe at St. John Vianney with 1,000 students, but the school is just huge. It's a lot bigger, and it's more challenging to get to all the schools all the time, every day, to see everybody, to try to be everywhere. But it's a lot of fun, and it's just, you guys know, you have the coolest high school. Think about that. The movies came here, and they were shot, major motion pictures. That never happened before. The buildings, the way they're designed. Look at this. You have this movie set. You're doing some really, really amazing things here.
I appreciate your thoughts on Bayonne High School. How do you try to support each activity within the district? I know you said you went to the Bees Knees competition last weekend and you attended some sports games, but how do you make sure you attend everything?
That's super difficult because there's multiple things going on at the same time. I'll give you an example. One time there was fencing, there was volleyball, and I think there was ice hockey or something going on all at the same time, or close to it. Trying to get to all the clubs. Yesterday after school, there were a couple activities that we try to get to. So you try to get to as many as you can. But it's definitely challenging because even you have all the community schools and trying to get to all those. But it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different things going on at all different times.
I see. If you were to meet your younger self, what would you ask or tell them?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good question. What would you tell yourself? I think you just have to remind my younger self that everything's going to work out. You may not be the smartest guy in the room. You're going to have to work really hard, but everything will work out. Everything will just work out just fine.
I see a large number of our audience would relate to that statement. What would you say gets the bulk of your attention during a normal day in the office?
It can vary from a phone call at the start of the day that there's a crisis or an event that needs attention. It can vary to one of our students or employees needing some assistance. So really what you try to do is you just try to balance. The hardest thing is when you get emails or people need something right away. It's really hard to communicate to people in real time as things happen. So that's a challenge. But most importantly, you try to have a laundry list of things in the day. You have your planner or your Google Calendar, right? And we have that, and we go down and we go through our events. But there's always things that come up that you have to adapt, improvise, and overcome.
I see how you would handle that kind of stuff, but speaking of leadership, what would you describe your leadership style as?
I think in anything you do, whether it's being a leader, being an assistant, helping, being a student, being a teacher, if you bring energy, enthusiasm, and excitement to anything, if you want to help people, you know what? You may not be the smartest person in the room, which I definitely am not, but you just want to have, treat people the way you want to be treated. I know that sounds really, really simple, but it actually works. You'll get everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want, and you try to do that.
Well, I'm definitely going to live by those words, and probably everyone else will. We've heard that you don't like parking in the parking lot where you already have your assigned spot there. Why don't you park there?
I really, you guys know that too?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Listen, one of the most important things, and I told the board when after I got hired, is I'm not looking to, there's a lot of other people that could use a parking spot. And what's really great is when people tell me that they want to complain about parking, and this is Bayonne, and it's so difficult, and I wish I had a parking spot, so close. And I say, well, I don't. I park down at Vets Field, or I'll park other places when I can. Sometimes, you just have to park there. You're carrying things or all those kind of things. So sometimes, you have to do that. But you know what? I'll defer that to somebody else. I'll let somebody else use that spot. That's fine. I don't mind that. I think that's, well, the fact that you guys know that. How do you know? You guys know that, really? Seriously?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with not having a sign with my name on it and all that kind of stuff. I think it's more important to let other people to have that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's on my script, and I think someone in the back must have tampered with the script and put that in. So I know nothing about that. It was probably one of the executives.
Gotcha.
Do you have any role models that you look up to when you come into school every day?
Role models. I think you know what, through life, there's people that have an impression on you as you go forward. I mean, there has been quite a few throughout my years. One of them, when I was in high school going into college, was Robert D. Scott. He was a director of the Monmouth County Police Academy, the first African-American leader of the police academy, and that was back in the 80s. And he told me, education without the proper application is of little or no value at all. And what that means is it's not really where you go to school, but it's what you do with your education that's really important. So that's always stuck with me. You know, later going through life, I mean, you have role models, you have you know, people that you work with that you kind of like, you learn a lot from. You have a lot of instructors, a lot of teachers that along the way kind of shape how you are. It's not really the book stuff insofar as, if you think about it, the attitude, how people presented themselves, how they spoke to you, how they cared for you or asked questions. Those are really cool. And you know what? When you get some of those people, it's really awesome.
Absolutely. What are some improvements that you think the district should focus on?
I think if we're going to look at it, we'll start at the top. We'll start at the roof, right? I mean, there are some schools that have some leaky roofs. We're fixing those. Your boilers, you want to make sure that you have heat. That's really important. I feel for everybody because I know all of you don't have air conditioning throughout the whole building, right? But we're trying to make all those improvements. There's a lot. When we got here, you guys, you know the basement downstairs, and it leaked, and it kind of had a smell. Well, we had to fix all the sewage and not the sewage, the sewer pipes, those kind of things. You know, all that stuff is important. Mitigating all the rain and the water, which we were supposed to have a rainstorm today, but we try to do all that. Take care of what we can take care of right away to make it a safe environment to learn.
There's always room for improvement, and no matter how bad the situation is, you can always fix it in some way, shape, or form. Are there any family, friends, or teachers that help you get to where you are now?
There's a lot of people. I mean, my family, you know, supported me through all my different journeys. I gave up some things to become a teacher, obviously, and it was a great move. However, there's a lot of people, you know, that you go through. There's friends of mine who I went to college with when I went to get my master's degree that were really helpful. They kind of encouraged me to stay in the program. You know, going back to college as an adult is really hard. But yeah, there's been a lot of people. Family is definitely important, as it is for all of us.
Absolutely. A while ago, we had Mr. Baccarel, the principal of Bayonne High School, on our show. Can you discuss the relationship with him?
Oh, Mr. B's the best. He is an icon here at the school. I think I introduced him at our last graduation. I think it was his 50th year being here at the high school, and he's a wealth of knowledge. He knows so many, so many people, so many. I think it's one person that's pretty much seen it all and done it all, and he's an icon in Bayonne.
When it comes to the high school, what do the two of you make as your biggest goal each year to work on together?
I think most importantly is getting off to a successful start, making sure everybody has everything they need, making sure that we have all our supplies, all our. I mean, there's 3,000 students in the school, so there's a lot of things that we have to make sure that all the resources that he has to open up the door.
How do you contribute to the grammar schools by any chance? Since there are so many of them, do you get to them often and meet with those principals?
Yes, we just had a meeting with all the principals yesterday morning, and we're just kind of, I'll give you an example. I mean, we all know that the war in Ukraine, and there's threats to technology and to disrupting internet, those kind of things. So as a school district, we have to prepare for that. So that's just one of the things that you know, we're kind of, it's behind the scenes, but we're working on that too, to you know, just in case. Think about it. If we didn't have our technology, our laptops, they didn't work, that could be problematic.
Absolutely. On the topic of Ukraine, what are you doing to help those kinds of people?
Sure. I met with Vassal. Let's see. He's the music teacher at Henry Harris. We had a fundraiser for Ukraine. What was that? 2 weeks ago on a Friday. We had it at the auditorium. We raised a lot of money for that, for the cause. We raised a lot of money for the children of Ukraine. We have donations downstairs in the board office, which we're going to be shipping over. So it's been great. But once again, the community comes together for something like that. It's awesome.
I love seeing the community come together for big things just like that. What do you think are the biggest protocols you like to take as the superintendent when it comes to safety issues within the school, such as, you know, metal detectors and security?
Well, you have a great infrastructure. Mr. Tim Carey is a director of safety and security. Mr. Walter Rogers, he's in charge of crisis management. So, and we have a lot of dedicated people for all of those things to protect and this we're a school, we're the critical infrastructure of our city, and you know there's a great responsibility that comes with that. So they've done a heck of a job, and we've put in a security control room with all the cameras and monitors. So yeah, that's very important.
Absolutely. Now, I know you're not the only person behind the Board of Ed. How do you contribute when working with the other trustees and attending the board meetings?
Well, the trustees they hire one employee, and that's a superintendent. So I make recommendations to them on what we need to do or what we need in our schools, and then the Board of Education, they vote on those resolutions. So what we do is we take one thing, and if we want to get a new textbook or we hire a teacher, I make the recommendation to the board, and then the board votes on that.
What has been the most interesting event that you have been a part of since you've been working here in Bayonne?
Wow, that's a huge question. One event. You know what? I thought last Saturday at watching the Bee's Knees and singing, and I thought they should have came out #1, and I told them all that. But everything, it's just really awe-inspiring to see all the students. Yesterday we had a motivational speaker in for a group of students in the senior lounge. It was just towards the end of the school day. That was amazingly powerful. She was giving out $50 bills to students as they were answering questions. That was amazing. I've never seen that before. So you know what? I don't have to go back too far to think about something that was just amazing. I will also say this. About a half an hour ago, one of our students who's at the community school rang the bell because that was his last cancer treatment. So there's a lot of special things that happen that we don't, that happen throughout a day, throughout a week, throughout a year that are pretty powerful. But those are just some within the last, I guess, 48 hours that are pretty cool.
That happens, man. Good and bad. In, I believe, December, you allowed the staff at Bayonne High School to have certain dress-down days and free items in the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide on that, and will it continue throughout the future?
Yeah, sure. You know what? Things will just randomly happen every once in a while. That's important. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And you know what? I'll tell you this. How about this? How about we do a dress down day for the students tomorrow to celebrate St. Peter's getting to the Final 8. What do you think?
I would definitely look forward to doing it.
All right, we're going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to make that announcement, and I'm going to have that sent out to all of you before the end of the day.
Absolutely.
That sounds pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, what the heck? There's a big parade in Jersey City. Though I don't think anybody should leave school for that, but you know, we can show support, right? All right, let's do that.
Absolutely. Make sure to thank us and give us a shout out for that dress down day, okay?
All right, I definitely will. I'm going to do that when I leave.
Got it from us.
All right, you got it.
But besides that, thank you so much for coming.
You're
on,
very
Mr.
welcome.
Niesz. It's been an honor having you here in this chair in front of me, and as our school superintendent, I definitely look forward to seeing what you'll do in the future of BBOED. And good luck with your park.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
I still need to figure out who put that in my script.
Somebody did.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
I'm
you
good.
all so much for coming on
Oh, it's in
Bayonne
here.
tonight.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
Sean
sorry.
Flores signing off. Good night, Bayonne!